You ready to talk about yourself? You ready to share some things about yourself? That's what I thought. Hey, what do you think, Miss Glynnis? Huh? What do you think? Who's your good girl? So if you've been watching our YouTube channel about real estate in Kansas City for any length of time, you've met Glynnis. So this is Glynnis, the Great Dane, and she is kind of my sidekick. I hear a few of my other sidekicks barking outside. We couldn't have them all in at the same time because it gets slobbery. There's slobber on your ear. So we'll see if we can handle listening to that barking on the outside. That's our new rescue, Duke. But so, since we've been shooting together and taking you on tours of Kansas City for the last 3 years, am I already boring you? I thought I'd answer a few questions that some of our fans and friends have had about Miss Glynnis, because she is a unique animal. So some of the questions that I've been asked through the years, that just kind of demonstrated the first one. Are Great Danes lazy? Sort of. She started out, we got her at 8 weeks, and she was a very normal, crazy puppy with very sharp teeth. And she was just a normal, very energetic puppy. She morphed into kind of a pterodactyl-like teenage dog, and we loved that for a little bit. And now she's 3.5, and she is actually quite fairly lazy. She does enjoy playing with her brother Duke, who is now barking outside because he wants in. And she does like to play ball, but she spends most of her time on this couch. And it is kind of turned into her couch. As you can see, we're trying to dog-proof it as much as we can, which sometimes happens, sometimes not. Another question we get is, how old will she get? Great Danes, I hate that question. And if you ever pass somebody who has a Great Dane, don't ask that question. It's just kind of a crummy question to ask, because like, when's your dog gonna die? That's awful. But because she's a giant breed, they do typically have a shorter lifespan. In some of my Great Dane groups that I've been part of for several years, there are Danes that live up to 12, a very healthy 12-year-old Dane, but that's probably about it. I'm not going to even say the average age because we don't want to talk about that. Look how sad that question's making her feel. Oh. Should we talk about something else? How much does she eat? That's a big question. When she was a puppy, she was eating up to 8 to 10 cups of food a day. Let that soak in. That's a lot of food. And Danes typically have pretty sensitive stomachs. That's kind of a breed trait. And so it took us a while to figure out that she's actually allergic to chicken. So we went through probably 5 or 6 different foods until we found one that works. She's a beef girl. She likes her beef and rice. And she eats, let me think about this for a minute. She eats 4 meals. She doesn't eat 2 because it's important for barrel-chested dogs, and especially Danes, who get bloat, which is their stomach expands with gas and then will turn, and they die from that. And it's a very expensive surgery if sometimes it doesn't even work. So we spread our meals apart. She's not allowed to exercise right before or after her meal. And I actually fill up with Tupperware. She probably gets about 5 or 6 cups a day. She's demonstrating another trait of Great Danes is the cuddliness and the neediness. These are the most Velcro dogs I've ever had. She's got a small streak of independence in her, but if she's really mostly happy if she is at least this close to her humans. She is definitely my dog, and she's loyal and kind of sticks with me most of the day, but she loves her boy and her girl, and she loves Sam, and she would love to be in your lap, on top of you, touching you, or really just close by you. The joke that you'll never pee alone with a Great Dane is very true. And in a small Prairie Village bathroom, it can get kind of tight. People often ask me how much she weighs. Glynnis here is 130 pounds. She came from a litter of, I think there were 6 or 7 of them, and they were adopted. I met her mom and dad at the foster where the puppies were born, and I met all of the puppies. She is I think there were 3 females, and the rest were males, so 7 maybe in the litter. She is the smallest of the males. I've never met any of the other females, but we did do a meet and greet at around their first birthdays, and I got to meet the males in her litter, and she was the smallest. So 130 pounds is a small Dane, which is kind of amazing to think about. Hey, Glynnis. Hey, what do you think? Are you enjoying your interview? Oh, yes. Good, I'm glad you're having fun. Let me slime with you a little bit. Have you seen the Danes whose lips hang real low or their eyes are real droopy? Some people call those European Danes. And if you're going to a breeder, if you're doing official Dane talk, there's no such thing as a European Dane. But she has, hey, look, show them your lips. Her lips are rather large, but they're not as big as some. So she's kind of got more of the American Dane body, so to speak. Her mom looked just like her. She looks just like her mom. Her dad was super jowsy, and he had this saggy eyes. He was blue, which is the gray, all gray Dane. Again, this was a rescue situation. It was 2 dogs that were owned by one gentleman who was intending to breed them at some point, and then they had an accidental litter while they were staying with his parents, and I think that the parents weren't up for a whole 2 Danes and a whole litter, so they were all put up for adoption, and I was lucky enough to get this one. But you look so sad. Hey. Oh. Another question we get is, how easy are they to train? I'd have to say that Glynnis was the easiest dog I have ever trained. She wanted to please. She has a little bit of a willpower. I did use professional training in a group setting and then some private professional training. She's a dream dog. She's pretty perfect, and she's pretty great to be around. Glynnis, you're making me look bad with this droopiness. If you've met Glynnis in person, you know she's uber friendly and loves everybody, and really thinks that you're probably there if you have a visit with her, or me, that you're there to see her, because she's pretty special. So one of the questions is, are they friendly to humans and other dogs? Yes. Glynnis does have a little problem with doodles. I don't know why. There must have been something that happened. It happened over COVID. You know, we all have our COVID things, and for Glynnis, apparently it's doodles. So she has decided that doodles are not dogs she wants to be friends with, which is why we don't get to go to Barquet anymore. The dog tenders were so wonderful with kind of helping me shape her behavior, but it just became so stressful we just don't go. But other than doodles or any curly-haired dogs, she is super friendly to all the people and all the dogs. She does play rough, which is kind of fun with her brother Duke, but she's clearly a lover, not a fighter. Where does Glynnis sleep? I've had a few people ask me this, and this is kind of funny, I think. Part of getting her, Sam didn't really want a Great Dane. I've wanted one since forever, and the way that she came about, we really like to rescue dogs, and that's really important to us. And so I didn't want to get a Dane from a breeder, but I wanted a full-blood Dane, and you can't really pick and choose when you adopt a dog. So when her litter popped up in front of me on social media, and it just went from there. But part of the deal was Sam, we never wanted to have dogs in our bed anymore. And clearly this dog is as big as a full-size human, and that's just not enough room. So Glynnis, we started with a baby mattress and a crib mattress, and she was terrified of that because it made a crinkly sound. It was too scary. And so we graduated to a full, it's a twin mattress for a twin bed. I found one at an estate sale for $30, and it's brand new. So she is on a twin bed on the floor next to my side of the bed. And training is an interesting thing. We talked a little bit about training. She's very good at training me. And people laugh, but she lays down to go to bed. I cover her up if she's not fully covered with a fleece blanket, including her head. She tells me, she moans and cries and carries on. So she gets covered, and then probably about once every night, we'll see in the winter, she needs to be recovered. So she'll do her little wah wah wah, and I just lean over and recover her. Now the big joke is when I'm out of town. I was gone this last year for a week for Ragbri, and she slept with Sam, or on the bed with Sam. She didn't wake him up. There was no covering of the Glynnis. So clearly the smarts, it's on her. Say, how can this be comfortable? As big as she is scared of everything. I'm starting to get uncomfortable. I'm starting to get uncomfortable. She is not as fearful as some Danes, but she is afraid of, what are things that you're afraid of? Yardsticks. Oh, I got hair in my mouth. What are you afraid of? Yardsticks. Yardsticks are terrifying. Baby gates are terrifying. Chairs when they move too fast, terrifying. She is very interested in ants, and I love watching her watch ants on the ground, because then she doesn't have the huge lips, but they fold open, and it's hysterical. She's not scared of them, but she spends a lot of time watching them walk around. She's actually, now that we're talking about all the things you're scared of, you're not scared of as much as you used to be. She's not scared of balloons. She's not really scared of any people. She's definitely not scared of squirrels or rabbits. Mostly it's baby gates and yardsticks, which is great because then we can just barricade a door easily. Are you asleep? One thing I will say, if you're thinking about getting a Great Dane, they are big. They are big love. They are big. They're really big everything. They're big sweet. They're big smart. They're big poop. They're big love. But they're also expensive. So obviously she eats a lot of food, and she's sensitive, so she has to eat good, expensive food, and there's a lot of it. And if you can imagine, the vet bills are kind of pricey. If you're gonna put some, the amount of medicine to fix an animal this size is, 10 times more than what you would give to a normal sized dog. Same with anesthetic, or if she were ever to have an operation, it takes a lot more to get her to go to sleep. So be prepared for that. Vet bills are high, and food bills are high, and the amount of poop in your backyard is high. Oh, and slobber. There's a lot of slobber. Can you think of anything else? Well, I'm going to get out from underneath my weighted blanket. And if you have any more questions about having a Great Dane, or this particular one, this model in particular, or more about the story of how we got her, or where, or what it's like living with one of these guys in a small Prairie Village house with a small car, I'm happy to answer them in the comments. Are you done? I guess we're done. All right. Thanks for watching. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. Good girl. You didn't go very far.